Hey, in this video I show you how to make goose rillette at home. For the meat we need goose legs. You could also use a whole goose and cut it down. Works the same, but I'm using goose legs instead because it's easier. Then you need some goose fat because the goose legs by itself do not have enough fat to actually cover the goose later on in the pot. You could also use any other type of fat, but I like the taste of the goose fat better. For the spices, salt and pepper of course, then some thyme, rosemary, sage, and a clove of garlic. You could of course exchange the spices to spices you want. I feel like they have a nice pairing with the goose, so yeah, I would say let's start. First, get a pot ready on the stove and get the goose fat in. Make sure that it's on medium heat. Then place the goose legs with the skin side down into the pot. This will help render the fat easier and faster. And yeah, just let them sit there, let them fry a bit. And then you need to monitor if you have enough fat in the pot. If not, then add some additional goose fat, and you can also put in water if you want, but make sure that the fat isn't too hot yet. You want them covered by at least 75%. Then turn them, add the salt, add the spices, and as you could see, I also added some water. And now you let them simmer at a low to medium heat. The fat should be around 80 degrees Celsius, which is 176 degrees Fahrenheit. You could also do this in an oven at like 130 degrees Celsius, completely up to you. Just make sure that it isn't too hot, because otherwise the goose leg will burn and brown too hard, and we want to have them simmering at this temperature the whole time, because then they will get nice and tender. Put the lid on, and yeah, if they are not covered completely, then turn them every hour or so, and make sure that you check on them regularly. And once they are cooked through, you will see it that the meat almost falls off the bone. You don't want it completely falling off the bone, but that is very nice and tender and juicy. Get them out of the pot and use a fork to get the skin away, the fat away, and then discard the skin and the fat. Make sure that you don't burn yourself because it's super hot. And once you cleaned up the meat, get a bowl and put all the meat pieces into there. Just make sure that there are no sinews or other parts you don't want to have in the final rillette. So clean them up nicely. And now it's time to shred the pieces. I'm just using 2 forks. And the size of those is completely up to you. If you want it finer or coarser. And then again, check the meat mixture. If you have any pieces in there which you don't want in the final rillette, there's nothing more cumbersome than to have any like pieces you bite on and then you don't want to eat it anymore. So clean it up, shred everything through, and put the liquid into a gravy skimmer or something like this, and make sure that you first pull in the liquid which went out of the meat while cooking it, because we need to be careful to not add too much fat back into the mixture. So first of all, let's re-add the cooking liquid. Mix everything through, and you will notice that the meat actually gains back the moisture. So it's not a soup, it's like a firm consistency. And to re-add some flavor, always do a taste test, give in a bit of salt and pepper. And you can of course also re-add some of the fat to make it super juicy and moist later on. Then fill the goose rillette into jars And once you have the meat in the jars, you can use the remaining fat and top them with it. This helps to preserve them and also gives a good flavor once you open them and spread it on a bread or any cracker. Yeah, now you can let them cool down, and there you have it, the final rillette. And I would say I smeared it on a bread. Let's give it a taste test. Wow. Wow. I absolutely love the flavor. It's rich, it's creamy, it's smooth. I cannot, wow, I can only recommend it. The full recipe as always below. If you like this video, then please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. There are weekly sausage videos coming, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.